Okay, so Anand Maharaj is traveling. So today and tomorrow, I'll take the class on Karma Yoga today and on Dhyana Yoga tomorrow. So many of the ideas, concepts which we have already seen. So today, what we will do is pick up some shlokas from the Gita and try to understand Karma Yoga according to Bhagavad Gita in slightly more detail. Let me share my screen. Okay, so we'll start. So, what is the basic problem? The basic problem of human life that we are trying to solve is sorrow, dukkham. And Gita gives us a way by which we can lead a life which is completely free from all sorrow. Right? So, na anushochanti panditaha. That is what we saw. Right? So na anushochanti panditaha. The wise man does not grieve. So that defines what is the basic goal of Gita. And even the the Charma Shloka of the Gita, where the last Gita teaching is presented, right? Sarvadharman Parityajya, that also ends with Ma Suchaha. Don't worry. So this sorrow or worry is the basic problem of human life. Now, where does worry come from? Sarvam Paravasam Dukkham Sarvam Atmavasam Sukham. So anytime we depend on something external, which means the world, it is going to give us sorrow only. Now, any dependence upon the world is going to give us sorrow. That's a very, very simple conclusion which we can arrive at based on our experience. Anytime we depend upon any people, objects, relationships, including our own body and mind, if we depend on that, that is going to give us only sorrow. And that is what Krishna Gita says, Anityam Asukam Lokam. Right? So this world is Anityam and Asukam. This world is Anityam, it is transitory, and it is also Asukam. Net is always Dukkha. Even if we pursue Sukha on various aspects of this world, if you look at how much Dukkha we need to go through to attain whatever Sukha which we expect to get back, if we add and subtract and if we do a profit and loss calculation, right, finally the net will be Dukkha only. Right? In Tamil is a Kuti Kalichi Pata, Kadasila Dukkham da Minjum. Right? So if you add and subtract whatever profit and loss, finally you will find the net is Dukkha only if you depend upon this world for your pleasure or happiness. Right? For happiness, if we depend upon this world, the net is going to be sorrow only. So when we say the world, it is people, objects, situations, including our own body and mind. So the basic, when we say dependence upon the world, what do we depend upon the world for? There are two things. One is security, the other one is pleasure. Right? Artha and Kama. So the world dependence for security and the world dependence for pleasure, this is the core problem of human life. Where does sorrow come from? Why human life is full of sorrow? Because we depend upon the world for security and we depend upon the world for pleasure. This is the problem. So now we need to shift this world dependence for security and pleasure to independence, right? To become independent. Now, Arjuna asked in the 12th chapter, we saw Arjuna asked, is it possible without being religious, without bringing in the idea of Ishvara? Krishna said, yes, it is possible, but it is very difficult. And Krishna proposes this way, which is the Gita way, where you bring in Ishvara and along with Bhakti, you pursue on the spiritual life. So that is what we saw. Now, to become independent of the world for security, what do? We offer all actions to the Lord. Yetu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha. So matparaha, having God as the goal, offer all actions to the Lord. So that way, you become independent of the world and you be dependent upon the Lord. The Lord is infallible. So nothing, that will not result in sorrow. Right? So instead of depending upon the world for security, you say the Lord will take care of everything. Depend upon the Lord, have faith in the Lord, and understand that the Lord is Suhrut. He is the real friend of all living beings. Right? We saw Bhoktaram Yagnitapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhrudam Sarvabhutanam. Right? So he is the real friend of all living beings. So by depending upon him, we will never come to grief. By depending upon the Lord for security, we will never come to grief because he is omniscient, he is omnipotent, and he is compassionate. So by depending upon the Lord for all security, we become free from depending upon the world for security. And Krishna says, you offer all the actions to me and thus you become free from depending upon the world for security. This is called Karma Yoga along with Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga Sahita Karma Yoga. And then depending upon the world for pleasure can be broken, that can be overcome by meditating upon the Lord. Ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. So by meditating upon the Lord, we can get over the dependence upon the world for pleasure. So the world is pulling us in multiple directions based on various sense pleasures, various entertainment, right? So right from good food and good experiences, tour and all kinds of entertainment and all kinds of sensory pleasure, the world is pulling us, and we can get over the world dependence for pleasure by meditating upon the Lord, by various kinds of meditation within, right? Meditating upon the Lord in the heart and various types of meditations we saw when we saw in the introduction. So by that, we get the capacity to generate pleasure within our mind, independent of the sensory experiences. Right? And with that, we become independent of the world for pleasure. Right? So Krishna says in the 6th chapter, Buddhi Grahyam Atindriyam. The pleasure you get out of meditation is Buddhi Grahyam. It is very, very tangible. You can experience it very well. And it is Atindriyam. But it is not caused by any sense organ. Right? So a pleasure which is tangible, a pleasure which at will you can generate within your mind, and for which you don't depend upon the people, objects, situations outside. Now, once you have access to that inner pleasure, then you become independent of the world for any pleasure. So, meditating upon the Lord in your heart will free you from depending upon the external world for pleasure. So, these two, right, Karma Yoga and Dhyana Yoga, this is the core disciplines of spiritual life according to the Gita. So by these, what will happen is you will reach a state called Mayi Aveshita Chetasam, the mind fully soaked with the Lord. So outside your meditation, outside your puja room, outside your time of meditation, you do karma yoga. And while in your puja room, while meditating, you do the meditation upon the Lord. This way, your entire life is covered by so depending upon the Lord, and that way you will become free. And the Lord says, Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. So if you do that, then the Lord will ensure that you become completely free. Moksha is assured by this. This is what the Lord said. So now we have two simple problems: how to do this Bhakti Sahita Karma Yoga and how to do this Bhakti Sahita Dhyana Yoga. Now these two, Krishna deals in quite detail in throughout the Gita, and we will look at some shlokas which are related to this. So today we will see Karma Yoga, and tomorrow we will see Dhyana Yoga. Okay. So before we proceed further, let us look at some principles of Karma Yoga. What principles that Karma Yoga is based on? So we have been seeing this. So the universe operates based on a natural law, and every decision that we make has its consequences. As you sow, so shall you reap. Right? Vinay Vidaittavan, Vinay Arupan. Right? Tinai Vidaittavan, Tinai Arupan, Vinay Vidaittavan, Vinay Arupan. So that is what, as you sow, so shall you reap. And you alone are the maker of your destiny. Right? There is no extraneous factor. Teedum nandrum pirardara vara. That's what the Tamil poet says. Right? Kaniyan Pungundranar. He says, Teedum nandrum pirardara vara. So you alone are the maker of your destiny. There is no extraneous factor. Whatever you did in the past decides what you get now, and what you do now decides what you will get in the future. Right? So you get only what you deserve. Nothing is lost. So don't worry, relax. Work on what life brings you. Do whatever is needed in the current situation, and leave everything to the Lord. Right? And give more than what you take. Right? So focus on giving. Right? If you contribute to the welfare of the world and serve the living beings, you will be taken care of in the long run. Right? So basically, he says, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Yejanaf Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. So if to those people who are so busy taking care of and serving the living beings in this world, if they don't take care of themselves, the Lord says, I will take care of those people. Uran Pillaye Uti Valattal, Tan Pillai Tana Valarum. That's what the Tamil proverb says. So that is what is here. The Lord gives the assurance that if you spend all your life taking care of this world for as a service, right, I will take care of you. That's what the Lord says here. Then the goal is to improve yourself in the process. So character building and wisdom are the goals, right? So we have been seeing that what we carry from one life to another life is samskara, punya, and jnana. Right? Punya we get by doing good in the world, and samskara by improving our character, and jnana by gaining wisdom. So this punya, samskara, jnana, these are the only three things which matter in life. Right? So the entire goal is to improve those. And also another important thing is we are highly indebted to this world. Right from childhood we have been taking. Right? So like nature has invested so much into each of us, and nature will extract it from us. So we better give willingly, and when we tip the balance on the other side, then the possibilities of higher life and higher perspectives, higher thinking will automatically get open to us. So by doing karma yoga, right, by giving more than taking, karma yoga is very simple. Give more than what you take. That's all. Right? In every situation, give more than what you take. That is what is Karma Yoga. So then when we give, when we focus on giving, then slowly the balance will give. Then we will be free from the debt, and then nature will open up satsanga, and we'll be able to sit and meditate, we'll be able to concentrate. All those things will happen automatically when we give. So these are the basic principles of Karma Yoga. Now we will proceed further to explore more. Now, when we say Karma Yoga, the Gita Karma Yoga has three important components: Yajna, Dana, Tapas. Okay. So multiple places Krishna mentions this. Yajna, Dana, Tapas, Chaivam, Pavanani, Manishinaha. Right. So Yajna, Dana, Tapas, these purify the human beings. Right. And he says, don't never ignore Yajna, Dana, Tapas. And a lot of places he talks about this triad, Yajna, Dana, Tapas. So this, whenever we say Karma Yoga is Yajna, Dana, Tapas is Karma Yoga. Right? That much we should remember. What is Karma Yoga? It is very, very well defined. It is not random. It is Yajna, Dana, Tapas. That is what is Karma Yoga. And we will look at them one by one. What is Yajna? Yajna is giving back what we have already taken. Right? Giving back what we have already taken is called Yajna. And there are 5 aspects to that. It is called Pancha Maha Yajna. Right? Now, we have taken from this world in so many ways. Right? And we need to give back what we owe. First is we have taken from nature. Right? Water, air, ground. Right? So we have taken so much from nature. Now we have to give back. How do we give back to nature? Don't pollute the environment. Use less plastic. Recycle paper. Recycle everything as much as possible. Right? Non-pollution. And when not using, switch off the fans and lights. Right? Conservation, sustenance. All those things come under Deva Yajna. Plant more trees. Right? So basically, Deva Yajna is our giving back to nature. By reduce, recycle, reuse, right? Non-pollution, they all come under Deva Yajna, where we take care of nature. The second is Bhuta Yajna. So we have taken so much from other living beings, right? One is, of course, directly as milk, honey, right? Or so many other animal products, right? And also, even if we say we are vegan, to pollinate the food, bees and insects are needed, right? So whether it is mango, even if you take a mango or rice, right? Now, so many insects have taken part in pollinating the flowers of those. So we depend upon the living world, other living beings for so many things. So we have to give back to that by, again, one is like taking care of the nature and also taking care of the animals, right? Keep water for birds, right? So that especially in the summer, right, there is less water and birds will like to have water. So you can keep water in your terrace or balcony or somewhere so that birds can come and drink. Or take care of pets, take care of other animals, and also donate to goshalas, right? A lot of temples and ashrams have goshala attached to them. So they are all, that is called Bhuta Yajna. So the debt to living beings is called Bhuta Runa, and that is given back by Bhuta Yajna. The third is to other human beings. If you take a simple cloth that we wear, right from the person, the farmer who grew the cotton, right, and the factories who made the fertilizers, the pesticides, and the manure, and then of course the equipment, the machinery for that, and the people who picked the cotton, who made it into fiber, who made it into cloth, the textile mills, and then who did the dyeing, printing, and finally the tailor, right? and finally the salesman in the shop, and finally it has come to our hands. So even if you take a simple shirt or a simple sari or a dhoti, right? Thousands and thousands of human beings are involved in bringing that to us to be used, right? So we are indebted to so many human beings for all this. So we have to take care of all human beings, treat people with love and care, right? Don't scold people, don't be harsh on people, right? And pay for all the services and goods that we enjoy fairly. Don't unnecessarily bargain unfairly, right? Any unfair bargain like creates more debt for us, right? It is better to give more than less. That is always better. At least we don't live in a debt, right? So ensure of that, and also donate for to help the people, underprivileged people, right? And any calamities you donate. So all these things come under Manushya Yajna, right? Service to other human beings. We have already taken so much. We take so much from human beings. Now giving back to human beings is called Manushya Yajna. Then comes our indebtedness to our ancestors, to our parents, grandparents, grandparents, right? So this body has come from them, right? This body is we have taken on loan from our hereditary lineage, right? So we have to be thankful to them for having given this biological inheritance. Now, how do we pay back to our Pitrus? Take care of parents in their old age, take care of grandparents, and take care of children, take care of grandchildren, right? And also take care of your cousins, take care of your nephews, niece, right? So there may be some cousin who is not so well to do, who might be struggling to pay the college fees for their children. And the best way for you to serve your grandfather is to help your grandfather's other grandchildren to lead a comfortable life, right? So, like you might be well to do, and maybe some of your cousins are not so well to do. So you help them, right? Take care of them, and your grandfather will be happier if you pay the school fees of your cousin's son than you offering some pinda to him in Kashi or Gaya. Do that also, right? Go and offer pinda, go and offer whatever rituals also. But then, if you believe that you want to please your grandfather, right? When your grandfather's other grandchildren are suffering financially or for some other reason, where you have the capability to help them, if you don't help them, then how will your grandfather be happy? Right? You doing all this Pitrudarpana, everything becomes meaningless if you don't take care of your grandfather's uh, underprivileged grandchildren. Right? So ensure that you are in touch with all your cousins, second cousins, right? And help them wherever possible if they need any help. Now that is Pitru Yajna. Take care of your relatives, right? And similarly, ensure that you leave back good children and grandchildren to the future society. That is also Pitru Yajna, right? So we pay back to the biological inheritance by all these things. And also there are underprivileged people who don't have people to take care of them. So you donate for orphanages, old age homes, right? Where there are people who don't have children or grandchildren or parents or grandparents to take care. So orphanages and old age homes, many of them need financial help, and you can go and help them, right? Or spend time volunteering and spending some time with orphan children. That also comes under Pitru Yajna, right? So these are all come under Pitru Yajna. Then our indebtedness to the cultural development of humanity. Now, without all this science, technology, art, literature, we will be just animals, right? So, what separates animals from human beings? That is the cultural, scientific, technological inheritance which we have, and we need to pay back for that, right? So, whatever inheritance we have, right, right, all right from all the scientific, technological inheritance and all our dance, drama, music, cinemas, books. These are all our cultural inheritance, and we are living as human beings because of that. And that puts us under great debt, and we have to give back. That is called Rishi Yajna, right? So when you have a, when there is a good movie, don't watch a pirated version. Go to the theater, watch the movie so that the producer gets his money back. That is Rishi Yajna, right? And also when you watch good movies, the producers, they will be encouraged more to make more such good movies. When you have read good books, buy good books and read, right? And uh, pay for whatever technology, science, and culture that you are enjoying. Learn music, learn classical music, and then pay for learning so that the music teachers who depend upon their livelihood, right, whose livelihood depends upon teaching music, they are able to make money out of music. So that is Rishi Yajna, right? You sending your children for Hindustani or Carnatic or even Devarnama classes, so that the teachers and the institutions which are promoting such music, they are able to sustain themselves. That is Rishi Yajna, right? So whatever, and we studying Gita, and so when you study the Gita, learn it, follow it, teach it to others, that also comes under Rishi Yajna. And all of us would have studied in some small primary school somewhere. Go back to your school, see what is happening there. If the school needs some donations, if the school needs a new building, right, form the alumni association of the school and donate to the school, right? And recognize your teachers who taught you ABCD in your primary school. They'll be very happy to see you successful in life, right? Go and meet them. All these things come under Rishi Yajna, right? So being grateful and paying back to the cultural, scientific, technological, and educational inheritance, that is called Rishi Yajna. So we are what we are today because of so much of contribution from these five aspects of nature into us, right? So Deva Runa, we have these five kinds of Runa. Runa means debt, right? Loan. So Deva Runa, Bhuta Runa, Manushya Runa, Pitru Runa, and Rishi Runa. And giving back to all of these by Deva Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, Manusha Yajna, Pitru Yajna, and Rishi Yajna. This is what is called as Yajna, right? Yajna is giving back whatever we owe, right? Now, what does Gita say? It says, Yajna Shishta Shinasanto Muchyante Sarva Kilbishaihi Unjante Te Dvagham Papa Ye Pachanti Atma Karana. So, Yajna Shishta. So, after paying back your Runa as the Panchamaha Yajna, after you have given, then whatever you get, that is called Yajna Shishta. So, in other words, right, whatever contribution you do to this world, whatever activity you do in this world, right, now as a compensation, as a reimbursement for that, you get in whatever way, and by that you live, right? So, whatever food you eat, deserve the food that you eat, right? Ensure that you have worked in this world, ensure that you have contributed in this world, and ensure that you deserve the rice which is there in your plate, right? When you eat one handful of rice or one piece of chapati, think, do I deserve this food? Have I contributed to this world for this food. Tendachora irukakudadu, right? Idu we should, in the Tamil, there is one nice word for a person who eats without contributing to the world. He is called a tendachori, which means the food that he eats is waste, right? So don't be like that. So contribute to the world in whatever way, right? You might be working in the house, right? You might be taking care of people in the house, right? That itself is a big work, right? Being a housewife is a big responsibility and a big work. So, and going to the office, working for your profession, working for your family, right? Doing social service, helping people, whatever work, right? Ensure that you have done enough work in the world. So you have contributed enough to this world so that the food that on your plate, you deserve the food on your plate. Every day, every meal, ensure that you deserve the food that is in your plate. Now, if you deserve the food in your plate, that food is prasada. You have worked in this world and you have offered your work to Lord as Vishwarupa Ishvara, who is in the form of this world, and you are getting the food on your plate and as prasada, right? Because you have already offered work to the Lord in the form of Vishwarupa Ishvara. So that becomes Yajna Shishta. So Yajna means Panchamaha Yajna, right? Serving in so many ways to this world. And Yajna Shishta is the food which is got out of the work you have done. And that is prasada. And by consuming that food, right? Yajna Shishta Sinasanto Muchyante Sarva Kilbishahi. That food will make you free from all sins, right? Sarva Kilbishahi. Kilbisha means like sin, or you can say bad karma. So a food that you eat, which you got by working in this world, will free you from karma. Whereas if you don't deserve the food that is on your plate, you are eating only sin. It will add more karma to you, right? Because even consuming food, right, adds karma, right? We have anything that we consume adds more karma. So if we deserve what we eat, then we don't add more karma. Whereas if we don't deserve what we eat, we are adding more karma to us. So that is what it says. Punjyante te tu agam papaha ye pachanti atma karanat. So one who cook and eat for themselves alone, they are eating sin. They are accumulating more and more karma, which they will have to pay in future, right? So this is how Gita says. And in another, the previous shloka, this is third chapter, 13th shloka, the 12th shloka says, people who eat without working, they are thieves, right? That's what it says, right? If you are eating without working, you are a thief. Right? That is the word Krishna uses. So this is the basic concept of yajna. And we come to the most famous shloka of the Gita, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbuhu te sangosta akarmani, right? To mate sangosta akarmani. So basically, there are multiple meanings to this shloka. So when you say Karmanyeva adhikaraste, right? So you have only to the control over what work you can do. Now, what results come, the results depend on so many other factors, right? So when we do an action, we get result. Now, the result, of course, depends upon the current action, but it not only depends upon the current action, it also depends upon our previous actions throughout our past, which might spread across multiple births also. So, because there are so many other factors, which is because of our karma only, which also contribute to the results might not be in line with our current action, right? So our current action is only one of the contributors. So because of that, we don't have full control over the results. We have control only over the action. Now, because of that, we should not sit idle and say, oh, okay, whatever is there, let me past karma take care. I will not do anything. You should not say, right? You don't resort to inaction, you do action. Because by doing action, by catering to whatever is the current situation, we burn more karma. So by burning karma, we become less loaded, right? Yajna is giving back. So when we do our duty, we burn karma. By doing our duty in form of yajna, we don't create new karma, we only burn more karma. That is how we become purer and purer, right? So without looking at the current results, right, do everything as yajna. And what will happen if we do? Yogastha kuru karmani sangham tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyoho samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So, yogastha kuru karmani. So, do action, right? Being steadfast in yoga, right? Knowing that I am doing it as karma yoga, right? I already vowed to this world and I am doing it, right, not for any benefit, but as a kritagnya. Out of gratitude, I'm doing it. And don't be attached to the results, right? Free from attachment. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya, O Arjuna, right? And siddhya siddhyoho samo bhutva. So siddhi means success, asiddhi means failure. So failure or success or failure will come depending upon the other factors. So take them equanimously, samabhutva, right? Take them with equanimity. And then here is one of the definitions of karma yoga, which is called samatvam yoga uchyate. Right? The equanimity in failure and success is called yoga. Right? Siddhi asiddhi yoho samaha bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Right? So this is what karma yoga says. Right? So basically equanimity in all situations, because knowing that we owe so much to nature and whatever work we are doing, it is only a small contribution paying back what we already owe. That is the attitude of a karma yogi. I have already taken so much, nature has given me so much, and out of gratitude, I am giving back. And how much ever I give, right, it is not sufficient. So whatever I do is a small offering back to nature. Right? It is giving back, because we have like right from childhood, when we were born, we can't even turn on our own rollover also. Someone has to protect us, someone has to feed us, someone has to clean the toilet. So right from our childhood, we have been taking. The entire nature has been taking care of us from childhood. The amount of investment which has gone into each of us is so huge that almost the entire life we have to live by paying back only. Now, that is the attitude of karma yoga, right? Saying that whatever I do is paying back to nature what I already owe. That is yajna, right? And doing our duty is the worship of the Lord because of that, right? Yatah pravritir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmanatam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. So, swakarmana tam abhyarchya. So by doing our duty, we worship the Lord, right? Work is worship. This is where it comes from, right? So now why is work worship? Because this world belongs to the Lord and this entire universe is nothing but the Lord. And the Lord has kept us in the position where we are, right? If we are the son of so-and-so, daughter of so-and-so, mother of so-and-so, father of so-and-so, citizen of this country. So whatever our duty, like whatever our position in life has been given to us by the Lord, and doing full justice to our position in life is our duty. And that duty is the way to worship the Lord. So that is why swakarmana tam abhyarchya, right? So whatever is our duty, doing that is a worship of the Lord. And that itself is yajna. This is what is yajna, because the Lord has placed us where we are and doing that. And if we do that, then we will be on the way to perfection. Right? So, swakarmanatam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. Right? So, siddhi is the final goal. and we will reach. So these are some ideas on yajna. Maybe we can take some questions before we proceed further. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Avik. Yeah. Those are questions can unmute and ask.
Yeah, Gokul Madhu, I have a question here.
Hmm.
This is Vishwadosh. I'm just imagining, let's say, when we watch Indian cricket or Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So when a player will go, to the stadium with, lakhs of people watching and, like shouting and all,
Mm-hmm.
and a player like Virat Kohli, he fails to score runs,
Mm-hmm.
let's say match after match,
Mm-hmm.
and then he say, and then he, let's say, is a practitioner of Karma Yoga,
Mm-hmm.
and people say that you have failed the nation, you have
Mm-hmm.
failed the crowd who
Mm-hmm.
are supporting you, and
Mm-hmm.
he says that, see, I'm a practitioner of Karma Yoga and I'm equanimous, I did my duty,
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately, I failed and India lost,
Mm-hmm.
and but I am okay because I'm not sad, I'm economist, and but I will be keeping my doing my duty again and again as long as I am given chances.
Mm-hmm.
And then the crowd tells him that, yeah, how come you can become so calm when the whole nation has, you have betrayed the whole nation when millions of people are watching you. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you actually juxtapose these two positions when, like,
Yeah.
the expectation is that you are, doing for the nation, and
Mm-hmm.
then you are saying that you are okay as long as you think
Mm-hmm.
you have worked your best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how do you actually, juxtapose these two, opposite positions through the Karma Yoga?
Yeah. So see, basically, like he has to touch his heart and he has to ask himself, has he been sincere? Right? Has he been going for the training sincerely? Has he been working out sincerely? Right? Has he been helping the other team members sincerely? Right? See, because like the match is just 90 minutes in, or like half a day once in a blue moon, right? But then for the match, a player has to every day wake up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, go for the training, go for running, keep the body fit, keep training, right? And also help the other team members to train, right? So basically, he being a senior player, like he has to help all the junior players to be fit and to get trained and to be skilled. So this training, skill development, working hard all through the year, right? And then sometimes the match comes, right? Match comes only sometimes, right? And in the match, he should do his best, whatever is possible. Now, if he has done his best, then fine. Like now, if the other people feel okay, like no, he's not doing properly, then remove him from the team, no problem. That is that the board has all the freedom to do that, right? So he alone will know whether he has done everything sincerely. So that is his call, right? See, even as family members, right? Now, let us say very simple thing, right? Let us say you are trying to book a train ticket on Tatkal, right? Now, okay, it opens at 10 o'clock, so you wake up and then you be ready. You ensure that your internet connection is fine, and the right time you log in, you try, and then finally, let us say for some reason, like didn't succeed. Now, your family members who are waiting for the ticket, they will ask you what happened. Like we thought you will book it, we thought you will succeed. Now, see, because you have failed to book, we have to go by bus, which puts all of us at inconvenience, more cost also, right? So now you have to touch your heart and say, okay, did I put in all the effort, right? Did I do everything possible under my control to try to get the job done? Now, if you have, then you can say like, well, I tried my best, and this is what is the result. And you absolutely need not have any guilt. If you have put in your effort and if you have uh, done everything possible from your side within your knowledge and skill, then whatever happens by the will of the Lord, right? So as long as you have put in your effort, you don't need to feel guilty. It need not be only Virat Kohli playing a match for the country. It can be a family man as you trying to book one Tatkal ticket also, right? It's all the same. Have you put in all your effort? Have you put in your best effort to the best of your knowledge, best of your skill, ability to get the job done? If you've done that, then rest of it, you just say, yeah, it's a Ishwar Icha, right? The will of the Lord.
Okay, fine.
So only you, the person alone will know whether he has put in all the effort or not. Others cannot judge it. Someone else cannot judge whether you have been sincere or not. You alone know whether you have been sincere. And you don't need to worry about others' judgment. Don't worry about others' judgment. As long as you are sincere to yourself, enough. It is just between you and God. Others don't matter. Because you can never satisfy others in life. If you try to satisfy the other people, your family members, your colleagues, employees, neighbors, it's a never-ending story. They will never be satisfied. You can never satisfy the citizens of the country. You can never satisfy the family members also. You can never satisfy your neighbors. So don't go for their satisfaction, right? That is depending upon the world for your pleasure and security, right? Don't depend upon this world. Depend only upon the Lord, right? So it is just between you and the Lord. Have you done whatever is needed? Are you sincere? Are you satisfied with what you have delivered? If you are satisfied and if you can face the Lord saying, I have done everything that is within my capacity. Don't care about other people. Understood?
Gokulji,
Yeah, thank you.
how do you determine that you've actually given your best? Because sometimes, how much do you stretch, and is that good enough?
It is you alone has to decide that. No one else can decide that for you. You alone can decide that.
Gokul, I have a question.
Mm.
How does a equanimity kind of person,
Mhm.
does he have very less thoughts, or he has thoughts and he doesn't act on it? What is this quality of an equanimous person? It doesn't see, you can be equanimous at one point in time,
Mhm.
when you can still go through these confusions at some point in time. So is he able to be in that state always? And that means he has less thoughts, or he has thoughts but he still is able to be equanimous?
See, thoughts is a very, very vague term. Okay, so let us not use the word thoughts, right? So expectations, right? That is where the difference comes. See, and Bhakti Yogi, according to the Gita, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Sahita Karma Yoga, right? A Karma Yogi, according to Gita, basically there are certain concepts that you have to be very clear. First thing is, you are not running this world. Okay, you are not running this world. God is running this world. Ishvara is running this world. He knows how to run this world, and he doesn't need your help to run this world. Okay, so he is not dependent upon you. He knows how to run this world. He does it perfectly, and he doesn't need your help or my help to run this world. Okay, so whether we do our work or not, the world will go on. So we are not doing any help to the world by doing anything. Now, if we help, if we participate, if we do our duty, then it is good for us, right? See, for example, let us say there is one big function in the ashram, and like a lot of people are being fed, and a lot of volunteers are there, and there are some volunteers who are serving food. Now, there are enough people, everything will run. Now, if you go to the organizers and say, can you please give me an opportunity to serve food for some time? Now they'll say, yes, you can take this, you serve puliyogare, half spoon you give to everyone when they come. So you take it, you stand there, and then you keep serving puliyogare. Now, whether you are going and volunteering or not, the function will go on, right? You are not running the function, and your role is a very, very small role in the whole thing. Now, the Lord does not need your help to run this whole thing. But by you volunteering and you going and doing some service, you are offering your small portion to the Lord, right? Just like the squirrel which helped in building the Ram Setu, right? When Rama was building the Setu from Rameshwaram to Sri Lanka, from India to Sri Lanka, right? You all know the story, right? So all these monkeys were all building, and then this small squirrel also went and put some sand particles on the bridge as a service to Rama. So whatever we are doing in life, whether serving our family, serving our profession, doing social service, it is all like the contribution of that squirrel to the bridge, right? It is insignificant. The Lord is running this world with us or without us, because of us or in spite of us, the world will run. The Lord knows how to run this world, and He doesn't need our help. Okay. So whatever work we do, it is just an opportunity for us to get rid of some of our karma and to gain some punya, to gain some knowledge, to gain some good samskara. So this is an opportunity for us to burn some karma. It is an opportunity for us to do some punya. Now, the world will run, the Lord knows how to run this world. Now, this basic understanding we should have, right? I am not running this world. The Lord is running this world. The Lord does not need my help to run this world. Whether I do or not, the Lord will take care. So now, with this attitude, with this humility, when we approach, then we say, whatever I contribute, it is actually contributing more to me than to the world, right? This is an opportunity for me to burn karma, right? I have got so much of karma, so much of load we have, right? Panchamaha Yajna we saw. So this is an opportunity for me to repay some of my loan, some of whatever I have taken. This is an opportunity for me to repay. And I'm thankful for that. So with that approach, if you go, then you will not have any anxiety, right? All this equanimity in all situations will come automatically when you approach with this attitude. Now, this is the attitude of a karma yogi according to Bhagavad Gita, right? Understood? So,
कितना दिन के लिए तुरंत लीव
Thanks.
yeah. Okay. Yes.
I had a quick question, Gong sir.
Mm.
So many times, growing up, we say that do not give up, otherwise you won't excel or you won't be able to
Mhm.
reach the goods. And I
Mhm.
understand the concept of selfless action, but
Mhm.
many times, like there is a fine line,
Mhm.
understanding that this is kind of combination of your previous karmas and the fruit and
Mhm.
God's will. So how to how one should decide that, okay, at this point we have to stop. I have done myself
Mhm.
the sincere effort, and at what point to stop, because obviously if you stop after first try, it is like you give up too easily,
Mm.
things like that. So can you comment on that?
Yeah. See, contribute maximum, right? You should never have a regret. Oh, I should have done more, right? Contribute to that extent that you will never regret in future, even if it fails, right? If you have a regret, oh, I should have done more, it means you have not done enough. Next time, do better,
Correct.
right? Contributes that much so that
Mm.
even if the whole thing fails, or in future, you should not have any regret that, oh, I should have done more. Right.
Because many times it is for the benefit of others too, that what you are doing, although you
Mhm.
failed, It might be for the benefit of others. Now
Yeah.
you can try a few times, and after like certain point, you feel like, okay, you tried best,
Mm.
but nature had to take its course.
Yeah, see, nature will take its course always. Just
It's
that
always.
you should not have a regret in future that you could have done something.
Mm.
And if you have a regret, no problem. Learn your lesson. Next
Mm.
time, do better. Right?
Thank
Don't worry too much. Right? But do your maximum. In any situation, you have to do your best. Right? That is important.
Gokulji, just the same question.
Mm.
The do your best and you have multiple
Mm.
responsibilities,
Mhm.
and you need to balance, right?
Mm.
I know that balance will evolve with time and maturity as to what, and at this point in time, given 24 hours in a day, and your body needs whatever.
Mm.
So you're
Mm.
able to do this, and you balance those priorities. And say this, and then the next day, what it evolves. So when we say we give the maximum, getting that balance across the different roles and responsibilities to do the right thing is the one that takes a lot of time to evolve, and the different points of time in your maturity, it also seems to be different.
Mhm. Yeah, like see, basically you prioritize and you decide. Right? But one thing I tell you, don't give that decision to someone else. Don't let someone else decide what is the priority in your life. Okay. And don't let someone else decide what is enough and where to stop. You alone decide that. Right? If you let someone else decide your priorities, if you let someone else decide how much you should work, there is no end to it. You will regret later. So you alone decide what are your priorities in life. You alone decide how much you should spend on what. And it is okay if you make a mistake. Be aware, learn your lesson, do better next time, do all that. But then the responsibility is on you, and you alone decide what to do, what is more important, what is the priority. You alone decide, and you take responsibility for that, and keep improving over time. No problem.
It's a personal journey, and you have to
Yes.
figure that out and discover and evolve.
Yeah.
I completely
Well,
agree. As a
Because if you leave that decision to others, right, then you will be working for the goals of others, and your goals of life will get you will not be able to reach. So never let others decide your priorities.
that makes sense. Now, as a guidance for someone like much younger, like kids when they're growing up as children, and how does it, because you're in the formative stage, and your ideas get formed, and you want that at least some level of guidance, and then later people will have different paths where they evolve. What would be the guidance that you would say for someone who is in the beginning and the formative stage?
Yeah. Like, see, if they are children to whom you are responsible for, then you have all the right to decide for them, right? Like, see, if a child does something stupid in the school, what do the school say? They say, bring your parents, which means the parents are responsible for the behavior of the child. Now, when the parents are responsible for the behavior of the child, the parents also have the responsibility and authority and freedom to decide the behavior of the child, right? That is not imposition, right? Basically, along with responsibility comes authority, right? So if the school is going to get the parents for the behavior of the child, then the parents have the authority to dictate the behavior of the child. Right? Otherwise, why is the school calling you if the child does something stupid? So as long as you are responsible for the behavior of that person, you have the duty and authority to decide how that person behaves. Right? And follow that, and try your best. And once as a child grows up, the child will become more and more independent. You will not be summoned for the stupidity of that person. Then to that extent, you are free from responsibility of that person's behavior also. Okay? And beyond an extent, you after that, like after the child grows up, you only have responsibility for advising. You are not held responsible for the behavior of that person. You are only held responsible that, okay, have you given the right advice to the person? Whether the person takes the advice or not, you are no longer held responsible for that. Right? So it's all, just look at how the world works. What is the expectation? Like that will answer your question.
Yeah, that makes
Uh,
sense. Thank you.
One question,
Hmm.
Gomu.
Yes, Ajay.
One of the challenge we face at times is that there is individual
One second.
value system.
Yes, Ajay. Yeah.
There is individual value system, and we talk about karma yoga.
Hmm.
And then we are part of an institution and part of the overall
Hmm.
society. And
Mhm.
society, if you look at today, right? Corporations, capitalism,
Mhm.
by design, it
Mhm.
is for results,
Hmm.
right? It is meant for results. And therefore, the attempt is to kind of say that, you know what, do X, Y, Z to get this results, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think at times that creates that while individual can do whatever
Mhm.
best individual can and can say that, you know, I have done my best, and you be
Mhm.
honest to yourself and
Mhm.
say that I've done my best.
Mhm.
But when the institutions, society
Mhm.
operates on a value system which
Mhm.
is fundamentally against this,
Mhm.
do you see that this is kind of creating the conflict that we see?
See, first thing is we need to understand corporate is not bad. Okay.
Yes.
Corporates work for the welfare of the society, right? They will make whatever makes good business sense is what is adds a lot of value to the customers. What adds more value to the customers, that will automatically make more business sense, and that will automatically, like, be the goal towards where the corporate heads. Okay, so the net effect is the corporate will make money if it is able to cater to some requirement or adds value to the public at large, and it is directed towards that. Okay, now an ordinary employee who doesn't dictate the way the corporate works might not be aware of it, right? But indirectly it all happens. Okay, because if the corporate doesn't cater to the society, it will not be able to sell its products or services. It's as simple as that. Who will buy? So the very fact that they are able to make money means the society needs it, and so they are catering to some need of the society, and as compensation for that, they are earning the money or whatever, right? So everything is in place and everything works fine logically. Just that we might not be aware of that. It is the first thing. And second thing is, if you say like, well, I have done my best, but then wherever I'm working, they are demanding more. They're like, okay, fine. Like, if you don't like, leave. Who asks you to stay there? Right? You have all the freedom to move from one place to another. Right? You are not a tree. Right? You are a human being. You can switch. So you have no complaints. Right? You have the freedom. Out of your own free will, you went and joined a company, and you have all the freedom to leave and go to some other company. Then how can you complain about that place? Right? No one asked you to stay there. Right? No one has tied you there. You are a free person. Like, if you are either don't complain or work there, right? And if you do,
Yeah, I think,
if you say like, no, I don't like this place, then leave. Who asked you to be there? Right? The whole
yeah, no,
world is
I think
open to you.
that's fair from the individual perspective. What I'm just struggling is that, you know, when you compare an example of ashram
Mhm.
is doing something, and the expectation is that, you know, we all do our best, and whatever outcome is, we
Hmm.
accept.
So that is there
Versus
everywhere, no?
in the
Everywhere that is what it is.
in the corporate, you would not see that, right? You would say
No.
that, you know, there is a quarterly results that someone is expecting, and that
Huh.
is what it is, right? If there is that failure collective,
No, it's okay.
right?
Like, see,
So
failures can happen everywhere, right? See, ashram also, like, you do functions, you operate it, and then you do, and just that in an ashram, like, it is everyone is aligned to the Karma Yoga, so it becomes very explicit. Whereas in a corporation, like not everyone might be aligned to the idea of Karma Yoga, so they kind of work on it unknowingly, right? But the principles of the world is always the same, right? No one can be asked to work beyond their capacity, right? So you're done your best, and if it doesn't turn out, the results, yeah, this is what it is. If they don't like, you leave, or they let you go. No problem. What is the big deal? Where the problem comes when you're attached to work. The problem comes when you say, like, I will complain, but I will work here. I want to be here, and I want to be like this. I want to be like that. It's because of your expectations that all the problems come. Think about it, right? It's because of your expectations, right?
Yeah, no,
Otherwise-
I see that. I think it's the lack in the corporate. It's the lack of that collective karma yoga that people.
See, why should you expect collective karma yoga? Why do you expect a corporation to behave? See, it's not a charity organization. You are not working there for free, right? See, in an ashram, you are working for free. You are not getting paid for it. But when you work in a corporate, you are getting your salary, no? So if you are getting your salary, then they dictate the policy, right? So you cannot say, you cannot draw a salary also, and then you cannot say, I will work whenever I want, I will not work whenever I don't want. If you are getting a salary, then you have to follow the regulations there. Otherwise, you work for free, then no one will ask you.
Yeah, no, I think on individual side, I don't have any concern, right? I think what I see overall in corporate and overall, the stress that it creates, it's just that there is a value system that operates, which is extremely for profit.
No, see, you won't get profit unless you serve the society. You understand that, right? See, unless a corporate provides goods and services which add value to people, the customers will not buy it. So even a corporate also works for adding value to the life of people through goods and services, right? Otherwise, how will a corporate survive itself? Who will buy something which is not useful to them, right? So the very existence of the corporate means they are adding value to the life of people through goods and services. And the more efficiently they are able to add value to people, the more successful the corporate will be. So it is perfectly karma yoga, right? Look at it from a macro level. You will see karma yoga there.
Yeah, I mean,
And the corporate wants every individual in the organization to be a karma yogi. What do you mean by karma yogi? Give more than what you take. Work more than the salary which you take. Right? That is being a karma yogi, no? What is karma yoga? Give more than what you take. So, right from everywhere, the company has to provide more value in terms of goods and services to the customer than what the customer pays them back. Give more than what you take.
But yet
And
you see in corporates many times that the end doesn't justify the means, meaning your end is fine, but then you kind of employ not so right practices, which is
that karma will catch up. Don't need to worry about that, right?
So you are saying that is left to the individual making that decision and not look at corporate overall, but individual making a decision.
It applies at all levels.
By that,
it applies at all levels, whether at an individual level or a collective level. If you don't follow dharma, you will fail. It is just a matter of time, right? If you follow dharma, if you follow karma yoga, where you give more than what you take, you give more value to the customer than the amount which you take, and every employee gives more value, does more work than the salary what he takes, then everything will run fine. As long as everyone follows the values of dharma and karma yoga, that corporate will be very successful in the long term also.
Agree.
Right?
Yeah.
So everything is fine. Like if you look at a macro level, if you look at it deeply, you will find everything is fine. You see the point, right?
Yeah, no, I see.
Yeah, things are fine. Like the world is running in a right way, right? Nothing's wrong with the world. If you find something wrong with the world, it means you have not looked at it deeply, because it is the Lord who is running the world, right? The world has to be fine because the Lord is running it, right? He knows how to do, he knows what to do. All the systems, all the processes, everything is perfectly in line, right? This is a perfect world. The Lord is running it. He has created it. If we see imperfections, it's because we have not seen correctly. It's because of our own short sight that we see problems in the world. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably gonna be the sadhana part.
Just adding to that, Google Madhu, see, let's say an individual working in a project in a corporate atmosphere. Let's say he has some deliverables, okay, and he does his best, but ultimately the project fails, and the management, makes him feel guilty about it and accuses him that you have. Because of you, the project was a failure, and the customer did not, give the next project to us. Okay, and this guy argues that okay, I was the project manager, but I did my best. I worked a lot. I got trained, but it was because of many reasons beyond my circumstances for which the project failed, and I did my best. Then the management tells him, we don't care whether you did your best or not. Ultimately, you are the cause of the project failure. So it is an output-driven thing, not based upon whether you gave best or what. It's an output-driven, and the output was not there. And so here there is a conflict between that individual's perception and the management.
Okay, fine. So see, first thing is no one can make you feel guilty unless you give permission for that. If you are convinced that you have done your best, no one in the world can make you feel guilty. So don't put that blame on someone else. Okay, you alone are responsible for your emotions. No one else is responsible for your emotions. Okay, now you have done your best. You have explained to them. You have given enough explanations. Now, if they are not convinced, now that is not your problem, right? And if they say we will fire you, fine, no problem. They are losing a good employee. That is their problem, right? Understand? So it's perfectly fine. Like if there is a miscommunication, if they are not convinced about your explanation, either it's a miscommunication or they don't deserve you. No problem. Right?
Okay.
If they don't deserve you, why are you worried? It is their problem, right?
Another thing, the other thing that you say.
One thing I'll tell you. The whole problem comes because you are attached to your work. You are attached to being an employee. Don't get attached. Your responsibility is only to the Lord. You have to answer the Lord. You have to ensure that you have done correctly. And you communicate correctly. If you are not working for anyone else, you are working for the Lord. That you should know. Right? Local bosses don't matter. Big boss only matters.
Right. So another thing, when you mentioned that that the world actually is perfect and God is running perfectly, this I have heard many times. The same thing. In many books or read about it. But our normal intuition says, "Hey, the world is not perfect. See about the wars, crimes, injustices that are happening." So how do you reconcile?
That is because you have a very narrow view of the world. That's all. Okay. See, basic thing is pleasure is not the goal of life. pleasure is not the goal of life. The very question you are asking, why is there suffering in this world? There is an assumption there that pleasure is the goal of life. Suffering is bad. No, who said suffering is bad? Right? Pleasure is not the goal of life. Wisdom is the goal of life. This, if you have it clear, then you won't find any problem in this world. Ishutosh, able to?
Yeah, getting you, hearing you. Yeah.
Pleasure is not the goal of life. Remember that. If pleasure is the goal of life, then what you're asking is fine. Why is there suffering in this world? Why is there poverty in this world? Why is there hunger in this world? Why is there war in this world? All these questions go with an assumption as if pleasure is the goal of life. No, that is where the correction has to be made. Pleasure is not the goal of life. That if you understand, then all these questions will become invalid.
Mhm.
I think that connects with the previous example as well. That, you know, I mean, obviously on one side you would feel, you know, if the employee did their best and management didn't recognize or understand, employee has a choice to quit, but then someone might not find another job, and it's not an easy thing for someone to quit at times, and that kind of creates a problem. But I think what you are saying is that even there comes the point that you know, you shouldn't expect you will have another job and therefore the pleasure and the comfort of the job. If you're willing to live without the pleasure and the comfort of the job, then again life is good. No, I mean, everything is okay. So I think yeah, I think somewhere deep down there is that pleasure and comfort that should be, and we kind of feel that, you know, despite you doing your best, if you don't get that, something is unfair.
Exactly. So the whole problem boils down to depending upon the world for security and pleasure. Right? You have to get over that.
Yeah, Gokulji, one other thing is we think the fairness is the should be the law, but we look at it from what we can see, just within how you see it's not fair. That also makes people feel that that things is not perfect because you don't see fairness just in the field of view of what you can see.
Exactly. Right? We have a very narrow view and we say things are not fair. No, because you are not seeing what it is. Right? See, the Lord is running this world and the Lord is fair. He is just. Right? He is perfect. He has all the knowledge and he runs it. So you saying the world is unfair means you are questioning the fairness of God. Right? It's lack of faith. It's blasphemy. Right? So this one sentence, God is running this world and he knows how to run this world. Right? If you believe in that, then everything else will fall into place.
And this Lord is actually the world, the law of nature.
World is a manifestation of God. God is much beyond it, right? Including the world. Right? He is the one who is running this world. Ishvara, right? That supreme being is the Lord.
Google, another thing, sometimes I will sometimes I will find, not often though, that they will say if you're working in an office, I mean, you can also, imagine your boss or your management as the representation of God and work for him. So, so something like kind of an image worship in a way, like where.
No. See, dharma, you worship the Lord only. Okay. You worship the Lord as long as your local boss is in line with that, fine. But don't get attached to the local bosses. Right? Understood? See, Prahalada. Good example is Prahalada. Prahalada disobeyed his father. Right? Why? Because his father was not following dharma. So your commitment is to dharma and to the Lord. Your commitment is not to parents. Your commitment is not to all the local people. right? So Prahlada disobeyed his father. Vibhishana disobeyed his elder brother, right? Because elder brother was Ravana, right? So obedience is never a requirement. No one expects you to be obedient. Your expectation is to be dharmic. Your expectation is always towards the Lord only. Your commitment is towards dharma. Your commitment is towards God. And if the local people are not aligned to that, even if they are your own parents, you have no obligation to obey. Right? Prahlada did not obey his parents.
Right.
Understood. Vibhishana did not obey his elder brother. So you have no obligation to be obedient to all the local people. No. Even if they are your parents or elder brother, no. Your obedience, your allegiance is always to Dharma and Ishvara.
Yeah, we got you. Yeah. That way, I'm imagining, with that, probably a lot of our stress will go, because
Yeah,
most of our stress happens because of our, taking this world very seriously, and about their own, the world's judgment on us, how the world will react to me. But if
Yeah.
my equation is only with the God, then all these stress factors will immediately vanish. I
Yeah.
mean, that's my imagination.
That's why, like, wherever you are working, in front of you, put the image of the Lord. In your desktop background, put the image of the Lord. In your phone, put the image of the Lord. In your wallet, put the image of the Lord. Put God's picture everywhere and say, I am working for this big boss. Local bosses don't matter to me. Right? That is why everyone has the image of Lord in their workstations, desktops, everywhere, right? Because you are not working for local bosses. You are working for the big boss.
Gokulji, Dharma is a manifestation of the Lord,
Yes.
right? And the Lord is that consciousness which is even beyond Dharma.
Basically, see, Dharma is not, it's a manifestation of the Lord, but you can say that is one aspect of the Lord, right?
Aspect of the Lord.
That is why the Lord says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. He says it's beyond the Dharma also, right? But without Dharma, you cannot reach the Lord. Without Dharma, you can never reach the Lord. You have to go through Dharma only. There is no other way. See, simple thing. Suppose you are driving your scooter on the road and there's a police there standing. If you are wearing a helmet, then you will not be afraid of the police. If you are not wearing helmet, you will be afraid of the police. So if you are not following Dharma, you can never develop love for the Lord. You will only be afraid of God, right? And if you are fearful of the Lord and if you are hesitant to approach the Lord, then how can you reach the Lord? Right? With adharma, you'll be afraid of the Lord. So you cannot approach him. You cannot even go near him. You will only run away from him. Right? So only if you follow dharma, you will be able to approach the Lord and you will be able to go towards him. If you are following adharma, you will only run away from him. So dharma is a prerequisite for approaching the Lord.
I think we are discussing extremely important points here, Google Muthu. I mean, many of us are in corporate offices, and these conflicts come. I hope there will be a YouTube, you'll recording it, and you can share the YouTube link for this.
Yes. This will
because
be.
we can share also with our friends also, because many of them can relate to whatever we are discussing.
Yes.
Because this is a constant conflict that many of us will have. When we have this like work in office or be in family or with our society, So these are the questions, perennial questions we keep having, and we have
Yeah.
to always relate it to what Gita is saying or our Shastras are saying.
Mm.
So very pertinent questions actually we are asking here.
Yes, yes. Very happy you're asking the questions, right? See, the basic thing problem comes when people want salary, but they don't want to work. That will not work, right? Gita says, give more than what you take. Work more than what the salary you get, right? Now, if that is aligned, half the complaints about workplace will go away, right? Gita says, work more than what you get. Means what? Your contribution to the company should be more than the salary which you take. Now, if you are not willing to do that first, then don't even ask any other questions.
Right. So now, like, I know we are like 30 minutes past already there, but then with all this, how do you look at, let's say recently the Ernst & Young girl died because of overstress, right? And I mean, it is also a question that, let's say Narayan Murthy was saying that, we need 14 hours a day, so if we have to develop further, we have to be like Japan and China, we have to work that much. And then simultaneously, a lot of people are saying that it's corporate greed which is making people, and they're forcing people to work a lot and all. So
Okay.
there is a corporate greed maybe. So how do you again relate to that?
No, very simple. I'll tell you. Let everyone take whatever is their monthly take home. Okay. Take that. How many days you work in a day? Let us say 22. So let us say your monthly take home, let us say, is just for calculation sake. Let us say you take 2 lakhs monthly. Divide it by 20, right? So you get what? You get 2 lakhs, right? 2 lakhs is 200,000, right? By 20. So you get 10,000. Okay. So end of the day, every day before you shut down your laptop, you say, my daily salary is 10,000 rupees. Now, if I have to pay from my pocket 10,000 rupees to a person for the work I have done today, will I pay out of my pocket or not? You ask that question to yourself, right? End of the day, you think for yourself, have I done 10,000 rupees work of day today? If I have to pay from my pocket to someone whom I have hired for the work I have done today, will I pay 10,000 rupees? You ask that question, then you will get the answer for yourself. That's all.
That many times will be like, I have not worked that much, and
Then
in that case,
you have nothing to complain. Then you have nothing to complain.
Right.
If you are getting more salary and if you are working less, then what do you have to complain now?
Right. So adding to this, see, one corporate leader, like it came on the news. He was asked like, what is your best relaxation and how do you do a work-life balance? So he was saying, my work is my relaxation. So now, do you think actually it happens like, if you are a karma yogi, let's say, if you follow that, the work can actually give the relaxation, but during work, we know we will have many stress, challenges which we can't meet, and a lot of dependencies.
This stress and these things, right? They're all actually meaningless, right? If you are doing your best, where is the question of stress, right? If you say I am stressful, it means like there is something wrong. Okay. And I perfectly agree with that person. Like if you love what you do, then you don't need any extra entertainment. Right? If you love what you do, then you don't need any extra entertainment. In fact, like there is a beautiful quote from there's a beautiful quote in Viktor Frankl's book. He says, People who don't have a purpose in life distract themselves with entertainment. Right? People who don't have a purpose in life distract themselves with pleasure. That's what he says. Right? So basically, like, if you love what you do, then you don't need any entertainment. Because your work itself will be entertainment. Of course, to be more creative, you need to have a break. So you might have a break so that for your mind, so that your mind, works better if you keep switching between things. All those things are there. But then personally, like, if you love your work, then you will have no complaints. And if you don't love your work, then I will say switch your work, then do something else. Like, why are you still working there?
Yeah. So Google, when you say, loving the work, one case is where the passion and profession are same, aligned. Let's say one loves academics and he is a professor and he is actually enjoying his work. But in most of the cases, passion and profession are not aligned. Right? People just land up into it and they will do it. So in that case, how do you love that work except the Karma Yoga principle?
Why are they doing that then?
Because of selfish reasons, of course. Because
then who is to be blamed?
That individual. But the thing is, let's say he lands up there and now he knows
No. See, there is nothing called landing up there. Everyone makes decisions out of free will. And they are alone responsible for their decisions. See, you choose something out of your free will and then you complain saying, I don't like this work. Who asked you to come here? Go away. Right? Understood? When you have chosen something out of free will, then what is there for you to complain? Right? You have the freedom to leave. No one is stopping a person, right?
Correct. But what I'm saying is, let's say even if the passion and profession are not aligned, but he still does this work as a karma yoga, as a worship to God. He should be able to love that work still, even if it was not one of his passions.
Such a person will not complain. See, I have problems only with people who complain. Right? See, even if passion and work profession don't align, a person who does it as karma yoga will not complain. He will not have any stress. Right? See, complaining is absolutely unwarranted. Any kind of complaint is absolutely unwarranted. So
in that case, the work-life balance that we talk about often, work-life balance. So this is something, for a karma yogi, that is a kind of an irrelevant thing, right? For the work-life balance, because
yes. See, when you say work-life balance, that's what I'm telling you. First, you calculate your daily salary. At the end of the day, you tell me whether for the work which you have done, at the end of the day, if you hire someone using your own personal money out of your pocket, will you pay that amount? Then you talk about work-life balance. Anyone who talks about work-life balance, ask this question first. Right? Compute your everyday salary, daily salary. At the end of the day, you ask yourself, have you put in enough work for what you have done today? If you have to pay out of your pocket, will you pay this amount? Then we can talk about work-life balance.
Right.
See, you want salary also, but you don't want to work. That is where the problem comes.
Yeah, very interesting, Google. I mean, I think we thrashed out the whole, thing.
Yeah.
Because these are all related to primarily your karma yoga and all, right? So it was.
See, everyone who talks about work-life balance are already overpaid. That is what I have seen. An underpaid person never talks about work-life balance. Only the overpaid people talk about work-life balance, which is ironic.
Gokul Murthy, I have a question. See, you said, we should always give more than what we get.
Hmm.
Now, we have relatives and the people who are working for us.
Hmm.
Of
Hmm.
course, we have pay. I mean, if they are in need, we pay them. And
Hmm.
but what happens? I mean, this is a very personal thing. That it
Hmm.
happens is that when they keep on asking,
Hmm.
I have that in mind that as a karma yogi, I should be paying more. But at the same time, I have a grudge that keeps on asking. It's not
Well,
that I don't cannot pay, but
hmm.
I don't give it a complete uh, open mind or complete happy mind.
Huh.
So
So
how do I
see,
deal with it?
see, you alone decide where to draw the line. Don't let others decide. That's what I've been telling you right
Does
from the
that
beginning,
mean
right?
that I'm not doing my karma rightly? I mean, I'm not.
No,
Uh,
you have to decide. See, you have to decide whether to give or not. You have to decide where to give. You have to decide how much to give. Everything is up to you. Don't let others decide. Don't say, oh, this person is asking, so I will give. No.
No, I decide, but there is
Hmm.
a guilt when I don't give. I mean,
That is where you grow, right? That is how you grow, right? You get guilty when you don't give. You give, then you say, oh, that person is not grateful, even I have given, right? You get some pains, you get beaten in life, and that is a way of growth. Then you decide, oh, okay, now I understand. I should not worry about them. I will give what I want to give because I am giving it because as a gratitude to my grandfather, not to this person, right? So this person doesn't decide how much I give. I decide. So that is how you do, right? So ultimately, you have to decide. Don't let others decide.
okay.
Gokus, it comes to just evolving your mind to a point where the clarity emerges. And I think there's a lot of noise.
Huh. Punita, can you go on mute? Like next. Yes, Savitriji.
Yeah. No, I think it comes down to your mind evolving and you're getting that clarity, what is right and wrong of dharma. And it might take a process, and everything else that happens to you in your life is for you to evolve to that place
Yes.
and things will emerge. And
Yeah.
hence,
Yeah.
absolutely okay, these conflicts are there and all of that. When that clarity emerges, that person or that particular mind evolves to a larger play and
Yes.
everything. And it's just that the struggle is because all of us go through it. The process when you're in this and you're uncomfortable with it, and hence you have guilt, you have regrets, you have
Yep.
and you struggle, and then you're looking for and we're looking for external validation of somebody saying that, hey, you're good, right? They're
Yep.
expecting the external world to appreciate.
Mm.
We are looking for external validation of fame or name or approval, and that is, and you're stuck in that. You get entangled in it, and you struggle through it.
Yeah. So it's a lesson that you get beaten, and then you learn your lesson. Oh, I should not depend upon others' opinion, right? So as long as you have not learned that lesson, you will get like hurt by that. When you
It
learned your
continues
lesson,
to
then
repeat until you evolve.
yes, these are growing pains, right? Yeah. Punita, you wanted to ask something?
Sir, when a mistake is done by me, I am getting the punishments immediately. But when same mistake is done by others, they are not getting the punishments. When the dharma is the same for all, why this
Hmm.
difference, sir?
Huh. See, if you get punishment immediately, you are really blessed. It means your backlog of karma is less. If someone does a mistake but doesn't get punished immediately, it means the huge backlog of karma is there for them, which is working still. So if karma backlog is more, then the punishments will not come immediately. If the karma backlog is less, then the punishment will come immediately, which is very good. It's a very good situation if the punishment comes immediately. Got it? You're on mute, Nita.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Okay, so let us end for today, right? And so I think maybe we will continue with Karma Yoga tomorrow also, and Dhyana Yoga maybe we'll take it up sometime later, maybe week after that, right? So we will tomorrow also we'll continue with this with Karma Yoga, and we'll Yajna we have talked about, then still Dana and Tapas are there. So we will continue tomorrow. So we'll chant.
I hope the recording is there of this, right, Google?
Yes. Record is there.
And you would be putting that on YouTube, I am hoping.
Yes.
Okay, that's nice.
So we'll chant Priyatam and Om Priyatam Pundari Kakshah Sarva Yajneshwaro Harihi Tasmin Stushte Jagat Tushtam Prenite Prenitam Jagat Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu Jai Ramakrishna.